Hey guys, Mr. Ridgway here. I am so sorry that I couldn't be there with you today, guys. Probably of all the days, this is probably one of the ones that I wish I could personally be there, just because Africa is a hugely complex and also really interesting place to study. And then also, we're going to be throwing Islam into the whole mix today. So, all that being said, my goal here today, because again, I profoundly apologize for not being there, and I really wish I was, is that I want to get you a brief introduction to Africa and all of its kind of complexity, and with kind of some geography mixed in there, and then also to give you the things that we need to know about Islam spreading into North Africa. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead get started. Alright, so this video is going to be a step-by-step tutorial and walkthrough of this lesson. What I would recommend you do is that you either minimize this video and kind of like put it down to the side so you can hear my auditory instructions, or you can keep it, blown up as a large screen so you can look at my gorgeous and beautiful face. But if you do either one, doesn't matter to me. So please click whatever your block is. Okay, the first things first, let's talk about the warm-up. So please click whatever your block is, and you want to click the top box first. Okay, and the reason why we're going to do this is because when it pops up here, we're going to get a question. I know you can't see it because it's hiding behind my monitor right here. It says, when I think of Africa, I think of, and please put whatever you think applies. So for me, I think of Toto. So maybe you write Toto. I don't know. Okay, your answers are all going to be different here. Please make sure again that your answers are appropriate because I will be watching what you submit. Now, what's really cool about this, okay, is that when you've submitted your answer, what I'd like you to do is then go and please click on the second box. Okay, and what you're going to actually notice, okay, is you'll see it's the same prompt, but what will start to happen is that you'll start to see all of everybody else's answers start to kind of come into here, and it will make a gigantic word cloud. And so you can kind of see like what's coming up in people's minds when they think of Africa. Pretty cool. All right, so once you've done that, we're done with our warm-up and we can move on. Okay, so if you need to pause the video right now to go ahead and do this, please go ahead and do so. But I'm going to assume you're ready to go on. Let's keep going. Okay, so what are our objectives today? We are going to be looking at the impact of Africa's major geographical features. Going to be talking about how geography does have a big role to play in Africa. And then also looking at the spread of Islam westward and how it impacted African societies. Okay, so we're going to be doing some dividing and conquering. And again, I profoundly apologize not only for not being there, but then also that we have to put Africa into one day. Africa is gigantic, and because of that, basically we've split the block into 3 parts. Okay, I will tell you right now, if you're probably spending more than 20 minutes on each one of these things, you're probably doing something wrong, and you're probably not getting it. So here's what the 3 parts that we're kind of chopping the block into are. So we got the geography and the Bantu migrations. Okay, that's kind of combined. The next one we're going to talk about trade and Islam across North Africa. Okay, and then why Africa and Islam in Africa matters today and why we should care. Okay, so let's talk about then some station work that we're going to be doing here. Okay, so this says station work, but again, you're kind of going to be doing this on your own. I would be there normally, we'd be doing stations, but it's okay. You're just going to be doing them individually. So you'll see we have 3 numbers here, 1, 2, and 3. You'll notice they're the exact same 3 things that I just talked about. So I'm going to walk you through each one. Let's assume you start with number 1. Again, you don't have to. You can start with 2 or 3. Go out of order. Doesn't matter. Okay, so 1, geography plus the Bantu migrations. Okay, so when you're doing them, okay, the thing that I want you to keep an eye out for here is that we're looking at, and again, this is the objective, the impact of Africa's major geographical features. And so if we go back here, okay, to the geography of Africa and the migration of people and ideas, we want to kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so geographical features, why do they matter? And what you're going to do here, and you're going to have the actual physical copy of this when you walked in. There's questions here that are on a handout. So I'm going to actually show you how I would do this if I were doing it digitally. Bear with me as I do my best drawing with Google Drawing here. Okay, so using the map Africa's vegetation regions from the reading. Use colored pencils to shade the different vegetation zones, and that's exactly what you do here. Okay, so on 3 high tables that are going to be on one side of the room, I have colored pencils and markers, and you're just going to shade in, the actual, like, what does the basics of Africa's geography look like. Okay, now it says using a black Sharpie, but you could do it with a pen or a marker, doesn't matter. You're going to trace the route of the Bantu migrations on top of what you just drew. Okay, so the Bantu migrations, you'll learn about them in the reading. I'd like you to put where those were, okay, on this particular map. Okay. So once you've done that, how did 3 geographical features in Africa serve as barriers to trade? So you're going to type your geographical feature right here over on the left-hand side. Then once you've done that, over here, you're going to tell me how did it actually serve as a barrier to trade. So if I said that walls was a geographic feature, obviously it's difficult to trade through a wall. Okay, is what you would put as your response. Okay, now again, there aren't any walls in Africa at this time, but maybe this could be something that you might write about. Okay, number 2. What goods were traded in early Africa? Pretty straightforward. And then, what animal made it possible? And number 3. What caused the Bantu migrations, and why should we care? Okay, and it has to do something with language, is the one hint I will give you with that. Okay, so done with station 1. So again, if you need to pause, go ahead and do that. Please do so. I'm going to press on. Okay, number 2, trade in Islam across North Africa. Okay, it says prepare to take notes in your outline sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Okay, again, it's just the first thing. Okay, and again, you would have gotten this piece of paper when you walked in. So just keep that in mind. So basically, okay, we can see our objective here that we're trying to accomplish. Explain how explain how Islam spread westward and its impacts on African society with conversion. Okay, so for right now, focus on the simple things. We're going to learn how Islam spread westward, and then we're going to look at how did it affect African peoples. Okay, cool. So how are we going to do this? Okay, if we go back here, okay, what I'd like you to do first, and this is digital only, okay, is go then to number 2. Answer these 2 warm-up questions. There is a very, very short reading. It's about a paragraph. Okay, it's not difficult. And it's going to ask you to read this short paragraph. Once you do that, then you scroll down, and down here, 2 questions. Okay, these are kind of just things to begin you getting through the thinking process of spreading the religion of Islam and what that looked like. Okay, so once you've done these 2 questions, okay, you can see they're down right here. Okay, you can answer them digitally. That would be fine. Okay, again, they're just priming the pump, so to speak. I'm going to go back, and then here's where we really get to the meat of this section. It says read the Yale packet. Now it's not actually a packet. Okay, and here's what it is. Now this is going to look like overwhelming at first. It's really not that bad. Okay, and so what I've done, okay, is because I'm not there, I've tried to give you all the annotations possible that I would talk about or say if I were really there with you. Okay, so what it is it's talking about how did Islam spread in Africa, and it's a really, really good resource. So you're going to start down here, and as you read, okay, I've got all these annotations in red over to the side. Okay, there's a map, and there's a key to this map. The map is down here on the second page you can look at, but these annotations are your guide to understanding how Islam spread in Africa. Please, please, please make sure you take your time on this, read it slowly. Okay, I've tried to give you all the kind of insights and things that I would talk about if I were there. Okay, so again, you read that. Now, okay, it says use your outline sheet alongside your reading. When you're done, you should be able to complete it. And if we go here, okay, not to the warm-up, but to this one, okay, that's got our boxes on it. Again, this is a physical piece of paper that you had when you came in. What I'd like you to do is now actually use that reading to compile the evidence here and the 2 different things we were looking at. So what did we learn about how Islam spread westward? And you might come up with 3 ideas. Idea 1, idea 2, or really let's say evidence. That would probably be a better word. So evidence 1, this is what I learned. Here's another piece of something that I learned, and here's the 3rd way that Islam spread westward. okay? And you're going to do the exact same thing over here. All right, so we get 3 things of evidence. And again, it could be 2, 3, 4, depends on what you personally find, okay? So these were 3 ways that African society got affected by people converting, okay? And now, here's where we kind of translate this into what we were doing last class. We talked a lot about using RAD to come up with a way that you can answer a constructed response question. And so you've got now the details up here, and here's the prompt. Okay? Explain how Islam spread westward and how it impacted West African society via conversion. Well, look at that. We've already got the details that we're going to mention. Okay? Now all we have to do is restate this prompt. Okay? Again, think about how many tasks this thing is asking us to do. Hint, it's not 1. Okay? And then number 2, we just have to give an answer to it. And again, this answer just kind of comes with thinking about these details, and then we're going to use these details to back up whatever our evidence is. And this right here is really proving to me that you kind of understand how we can pull evidence from a text and then answer a prompt and come up with an answer that we can back up and we can defend. Okay? All right. So at this point, okay, once you've done that, okay, we're done with this. So I'm just going to click the Africa symbol to return. And then we're going to go on to station 3. Okay, why Africa and Islam in Africa matters today. Okay, now this one's kind of unique and it's tailored to you. Okay, so you're going to choose down below here. You'll see we have 2 columns. Okay, and there's 3 readings. Okay, now I'll talk about the difference between the 2 columns here in a second. Okay, you're going to pick 2 of these 3. You can think of it, you're just skipping one of them. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I personally think, and this may just be based off your interest, that the virus in the Hajj sounds interesting. Again, if you don't remember what the Hajj is the pilgrimage that people have to make to Mecca one time in their lifetime if they are a practicing Muslim. Okay, and then maybe I find invest in Africa interesting. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to read 2 texts. Okay, and once you're done, you're going to reflect right here, and I'll talk about these questions here in a second. Now, if you're wondering why 2 columns, well, what I've given you is over on the left, okay, we have a little bit more, I don't want to say like, it's not a basic text, but it's simply the level of reading that I would expect you to be capable of, okay. Now, over on the right, though, we have texts that are a little bit more of a challenge. They're the exact same thing, exact same content. All I do is I've dosed up the vocabulary a little bit, maybe made some details in there that were not in the first one. So if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, just something to push yourself a little bit, you can choose the ones that are over on the right. Okay, and that's these guys right there. There we go. Okay, okay, once you've read 2 of them, you're going to click right here where it says reflect here. Okay. So it says in regards to the article about the Hajj. Okay, so you'll notice we have 3 questions, 3 articles. Now I read the first and the third one. Okay, and it says right up here, answer the following questions below in at least 3 sentences. If you did not read a specific article, write NA. Okay, so the first question is about the first article. Second question is about the second one. Third question is about the third article. Okay, pretty straightforward there. So I didn't do the second one, so I'm going to type NA here. There we go. Okay, and then I would type 3 gorgeous, beautiful sentences that would get me A+ writing about what the main point of that article was. Beautiful, wonderful, perfect. And then I would do the exact same thing for the third one. When I'm done, hit submit, boom. Okay, and I'm done. Alrighty, now from that point on, we have actually finished everything that we need to do today with one exception. And this right here will tell me if you actually have watched the entire video. Okay, and I will put, hopefully, for those of you who have watched to the end, this will be extremely helpful to you because you'll know that it's out there. Now, I will put a reminder at the very beginning at the top of Canvas, but if you want to know where this is, okay, your homework for next block is a Ridgway history video, kind of similar to the one you're watching right now, except it's going to be kind of feel more like a mini lesson. And then attached to that is a Google form. Okay, so the video, you're going to click it right here, and you're going to watch it, and then you'll answer questions that are here on this form. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, next class we are jumping back into India. And to be honest with you guys, I don't have time to talk about and to reintroduce and reteach Hinduism from like the ground up. I need you to remind yourself about how Hinduism works and the caste system and things like that that we talked about last semester. So, with that all being said, you're going to click this video, watch it, and then the Google form right here, okay, you just answer 5 simple questions. Now, what's being graded this block? I can tell you right away that absolutely this Google form at the very end, that's your homework, I'm going to be taking points on it. It'll grade it for you, it'll let you know how you do on it. Second, I will be collecting, and I haven't decided yet, and I'll probably decide when I see you guys. I will either collect, I will take one of these 3 things for a grade. Okay, so again, you're turning in something here, either your drawn map that you were doing in this one with questions, either your constructed response from this one that you did about how Islam spread, or the answers that you gave to the other Google form that was here on number 3. Okay, and I will decide that when I come back, just to make sure that you do all 3 with fidelity to the best of your ability. So, with all that being said, okay, please make sure you do each of the stations all the way. If you don't get it done in class, you want to make sure you get them done, because again, I'm going to collect something. And with all that being said, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me if you have questions or how to do this lesson, or if you can't find the homework, etc., etc. Right? Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.